I love seeing cool new tech being introduced in gaming, and while some companies are trying to push blockchain and NFTs as the future of gaming, others are trying to actually work on things that will help not only game design and making games better, but game development processes to make it easier on the developers and whatnot. And that's where Unreal Engine comes in. At GDC 2023, Epic Games recently did a presentation on Unreal Engine 5.2. And, you can say what you want about Epic, but when it comes to game engines and development tools, they're untouched. They're way ahead of the curve, and Unreal Engine 5.2 looks utterly insane. So I want to go through bits of this presentation here and show you some of the most impressive aspects and, what this could pave the road for when it comes to future game development pipelines and the kind of fidelity we'll see for games down the line. It's really cool stuff. Let's start with this section right here that shows us physics and foliage and all these things. This is on real time, by the way. This is not pre-rendered footage.
All right, so last year, we added several new features to the engine to support foliage rendering, and the Fortnite team used those features to ship Battle Royale Chapter 4.
Look at the density of the foliage.
Jacob over there and the team at Quixel
and the lighting,
experimenting with what's possible for photoreal foliage environments, as well as testing out the latest functionality that we've been building for Unreal Engine. So, Jacob's here with us today in the Unreal Editor. Let's explore the environment. And what better way to do that than off-roading? And what better way to off-road than in a Rivian R1T?
Sure, why not? Bit of product placement,
now,
but
Rivian uses Unreal to power their instrument cluster, including 3D visualization of their vehicles. So we worked with them to bring the R1T to life in this experience.
The demo itself makes it worth it.
All right. So we're building tools for interactive and dynamic worlds. So here we have chaos physics simulating rocks that tumble as we drive over them. Leaves bend out of the way.
Hey, look at the way the wheels
and we also
are bouncing around with a suspension.
Simulation.
Look at this. Oh my god. Look at that. Look at the water simulation.
We
the way the camera
at Rivian to
dips
set up
in.
Unreal's chaos vehicle model to simulate the suspension of the truck and how the electric motors drive each individual wheel.
And the water reacts with the camera.
Simulates how the tires compress and deform. And Meta Sounds enabled the team to precisely resynthesize the sounds of the electric motors and mix them with the ambisonics of the jungle.
Or reacts to the object with the camera being able to take a look at how the water flows.
So Rivian provided us
in
with
real
a
time.
Detailed model of the truck, about 71 million polygons that were able to render in real time thanks to Nanite. Now the Rivian not only looks incredibly realistic because of Lumen and Nanite, but also its materials. And today, we're introducing Substrate, our new material framework. And to better demonstrate it, let's swap the paint out for Opal.
Okay, this is pretty crazy right here.
Now, of course, you can't order a Rivian with Opal body panels, but Opal was the internal code name for this project, and also a really great demonstration of Substrate's capabilities.
Look at the lighting inside the material.
Models the iridescence, refraction, and reflections that occur inside of an opal. And on top of that is a layer representing the polished surface and how light is absorbed as it travels through that clear layer of varying depths. And now we can add back on the dust and dirt layers. And notice how the reflection changes when interacting with the dust layer.
Yeah,
and that
holy
there are no
crap.
artifacts along the transition from dirt to dust to opal. So
the light is literally interacting
expensive,
differently down here where dust is blocking some of the light.
Compose and layer those materials as they see fit. All right, let's head on out, Jacob.
On my way.
All right. In terms of performance, substrate materials that are similar to the current Unreal Engine shading model cost about the same. But now, artists have the freedom to author more complex materials for extremely detailed use cases, like in cinematics and in film. So we're going to drive under this fallen tree here, and everything that you've seen up to this point was painstakingly hand-built by the environment team at Quixel. Everything since that fallen tree has been built using our brand new experimental suite of procedural content generation tools, entirely an engine that are flexible, deterministic, and artist-driven.
That's one of the cool things about Unreal Engine 5.
Building these systems was to empower artists to make tools for artists.
It's not just about increasing the fidelity.
Assembly to the world.
It's how do we make development just easier and snappier.
Thank you.
It took them 2 seconds to make this.
Yeah.
And it looks like it could be handcrafted.
And the cool thing is that it communicates with other nearby procedural elements in the scene, like the creek bed. So let's say
the tools are so powerful, and it's going to make development faster. So
to the left, Jacob can simply move the assembly to the right.
My God.
And
so yeah, the developers can focus on the creativity rather than the technical aspects.
Game design is iterative. So let's say the designer comes back, wants to give the player the choice of going left or right again. Jacob can simply move the assembly back over.
Look how easy it is to just change things around,
The
and
artist who created
how
this
Unreal Engine
assembly
just
also added some
builds everything
additional handles
around
that Jacob can use
those
to
changes you
artwork
make
where rock slides occur.
automatically.
Allows him to customize the piece a little bit more, make it a little easier for the Rivian to drive by.
But you can go in there and fine-tune some things as well.
Crafting that original part of the level to set the visuals and art direction for the entire piece, and then built out procedural tools that allowed the team to create a much larger play space much more quickly. Now let's see how we can use these procedural tools to make larger sweeping changes to the environment. So Jacob, let's start by removing some of the trees in this area.
Absolutely, that's easy enough actually.
All right, a little too much. Let's add some trees back in.
Okay.
And let's also add in some cliff formations, give it a little bit more variability.
Wow.
So the procedural systems are all deterministic. As Jacob is experimenting with different sets of input parameters, once he finds a set that he likes, he can always go back to it and get out exactly the same results. And the procedural systems aren't just placing trees and rocks, but also fog cards, bugs, birds, everything that's needed to bring this environment to life. And everything that you've seen here works at scale. This environment is 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers.
Oh, shit.
If we hide all of the procedural elements, we can see that original hand-built area about 200 meters by 200 meters. We believe that there will always be the need for hand-building environments, so we design these procedural systems to be tools for artists that work in concert with hand-built content. Both Substrate and the new procedural tools will be available in experimental form in 5.2. And everything you've seen here is running in the Unreal Editor in real time on a developer machine with an Intel 13900K CPU.
For the less important environmental details, you can go procedural, but for the stuff that players will be really interacting with as far as environments go, you can handcraft those.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Instead of having to handcraft even the stuff that's not as important or that players won't interact with as much. Just, that's great tech right there.
Right,
Genuinely
so
useful
come visit
tech.
us at the Unreal Engine booth on the expo floor.
All right, so that's that for that demo. Next, I want to show this bit right here from Qubit Studios. They kind of give you an idea for how Unreal Engine 5 has made their life easier to make this game. There's also some information here about Fortnite Chapter 4, and you can see right here there are some visual enhancements to Fortnite, and there's some cool details that they show off in terms of environments and development efficiencies.
1 call per actor ensured our large dev team could work in this. But this still left us with a large
with its distinct art style and everything.
We resolved it.
But Qubit Studios here talks about
story with you. Qubit Studios is a small studio from Europe, and we have one mission.
how their indie development studio, their smaller development studio, was able to leverage the efficiency of Unreal Engine 5, not just to make a game that looks gorgeous, but
filled with lush environments.
just how much time
Now,
this engine
the universe
saved.
is already big at our scale, but when your main character is only a few millimeters tall, it takes on a whole new meaning. As a studio, we have big ideas. As a small team, we need to make choices. And that's where switching from UE4 to UE5 made a big difference for us. It has
Damn, look at this.
empowered us by giving us time back. Let me take you through a few examples. As Ogni is very small, we want players to truly feel its sense of scale by having a large space to explore. By using wall partition in UE5, we managed to save months of dev time.
Months.
Not just because of the size of the world, but also because we can build on top of it. It allowed us to spatialize a lot of systems very quickly. And with the built-in HLOD, we get strong runtime performance while being able to load the entire world visually in Editor.
Man.
A large world is great, but it doesn't do us any good if it's empty. And that's where the new packed actors and level instances came in handy.
Look how
The
quickly.
designer can use prefabs to quickly prototype ideas, while artists can refine those prefabs in Editor by assembling assets together. And with 1 file per actor, it all happens.
You can quickly make a framework
On the animation side,
of environments and
motion
level
warping
design.
allows us to use a single animation for a
And even in
large
that
range of
framework stage, it
situations.
looks good.
And with Control Rig, we can
And artists can go in there and just like
those
handcraft some stuff.
animations in Editor. But
Animations,
the
boom,
most
really snappy to just do in real
outstanding
time.
features are Unite and Lumen. We don't need to spend time on topology optimization and can directly use high poly meshes. Lighting is more realistic, and we don't have to use tricks for transition between exterior and interior.
Lumen is
All
a
in all,
revolutionary
working with V5 has been a tremendous
lighting
time
system.
saver for us, and upgrading from V4 was surprisingly easy. We were
It's
up and
better
running
lighting that's
in a couple
easier
of
to
days.
implement than
We can now iterate
previous
more
processes
quickly,
that were
focus on
of lower
gameplay,
fidelity
and allocate time to riskier ideas.
and required more finagling.
But enough talking. Go on the Epic Games Store and wishlist the game.
So that's Qubit Studios. I want to also showcase a little bit of Lords of the Fallen and what they're doing with the Unreal Engine 5. There's a Souls-like that's coming out.
Of real people and UE5's own character customization tech. Players can
On top of showing off, you know, the character creator and how Unreal Engine 5 allows for a powerful character creator.
The secondary motion in all our
Environmentally speaking, what they do with lighting here is insane.
Global illumination like this can be quite demanding on processing, so we also make use of emissive shapes to add additional details to the lighting of any space. We can then fine-tune these light bounces on our nanite meshes, providing our world with impressive levels of detail.
This is all happening in
and
real time. The
minimal
light
impact on
balls are
performance.
being placed at different points to show off
Perhaps the most important element of Lords of the Fallen
how they can
is the
handcraft some of the
ability
lighting
to
in a
travel
game.
between two worlds, the realm of the living,
And it just
Axiom,
looks so
and the realm of the dead, Umbral.
lifelike.
We've created our own custom toolset within UE5 that allows us to intricately craft these two environments side by side and seamlessly swap between them.
These are
This
literally
means our
parallel
artists
worlds
and
in-game.
designers can ensure these worlds feel intrinsically linked, like two sides of the
God,
same
this reminds
coin,
me of Legacy of
even
Kain.
if one side is decidedly more horrific than the other.
Look at that. Then you switch that on and off.
On behalf of Hex,
So you really feel like those two alternate worlds are
the twin realms of Umbral and
phasing through each
Axiom
other,
await fearless
and you can
adventurers
peek
later
into one
this
or the
year
other in real
when Lords of
time.
the Fallen
Insane.
launches on PC and current gen consoles.
And as far as that global illumination goes, just to show you
of Unreal's brand new Lumen GI, we've been able to light
how effective
our
Lumen is.
complex environments in real time, meaning we can immediately see the effect of a light bounce, for example, without waiting for the traditional slow baking processes. Watch how the lighting reacts as we move our light source around this environment.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at little reflections and
illumination like
refractions and how all of that in real time is just changing as the light source is moving. Man, I just love looking at stuff like this. I love cool tech like this. Then I want to go into the Metahuman demo, which is the character creator, the character model creator, a powerful tool for Unreal Engine 5. And the way they are not only trying to push the fidelity of being able to make character models easily, but also being able to animate them in a very efficient way, in a very cost-effective way, with tools that you might have around, like your phone's camera, your iPhone. So right here, they bring out the actress who plays the main character in Hellblade, and what they do is they set her up with this rig right here, which is literally just an iPhone.
Cut.
And she will engage with some dialogue and show some facial expressions.
Action.
I need performance capture to work like a mirror. I need it to capture whether I'm acting scared or angry. And sometimes, all I need is a look.
Cut. Thanks, Mel. That was.
So they take that data that was recorded through the iPhone and they just pipe it through Unreal Engine 5. This is what it looks like. This is the raw data, but then they kind of refine it over time and it starts looking
right.
like this.
Calibrates the solver to your face.
And in real
so that
time, you can
produce the
see the footage that was filmed versus the 3D model in the engine.
On the latest Epic facial solver, also more stable.
And then by the end, look what they produce
I need
with an
performance
iPhone.
capture to work like a mirror. I need it to capture whether I'm acting scared or angry. And sometimes, all I need is a look.
This is performance capture that was done with a phone without needing the whole rig. And while obviously you have to go in there and refine some things here and there, to really fully flesh it out. The fact that this is even possible, the fact that we're at a point now where we can point just a phone's camera at a face and, you know, through some tweaking here and there, create results that look like this, or can look almost as good as if you were to, you know, rent out an expensive performance capture studio.
Yeah, can't wait to see it. I need performance capture to work like a mirror.
I mean, capturing all of her the eyelid movements, her eye movements, the eyebrows, the little nuances in the lips, and just the folds of the skin. The fidelity is incredible. I'm just looking at this tool set here, and
other rig that follows our new Metahuman
though we can manually customize
Have a look at that.
character models, facial
I need
animations.
performance capture to work like a mirror. I needed to capture whether I'm acting scared.
That animation is being applied
And sometimes
to other character models that are not hers.
Intake works even on
They're not her
stylus
likeness. And it looks just as good. I mean, come on. The fidelity is still maintained, and it looks natural. I mean, good lord. And you even got this kid right here who is of a different art style.
And sometimes all I need is a look.
And it blends beautifully. And then one last thing worth highlighting is something that they're doing with Fortnite, where they're introducing Unreal Engine development tools and allowing you to use the Fortnite framework, and then you can just build your own custom content around that. So you can see right here how you can just change maps,
quickly bootstrap your game from the hundreds of gameplay devices already available.
add
The UEFN data
assets,
has many of the same
and create your
features
own
we
game
use to
modes,
create
essentially, or
Fortnite,
your own,
including the landscape editing toolset.
just full-fledged
You can
games
edit
just
the
off
landscape
of
to change the look of your island,
the Unreal
or
Engine
make
tools
sweeping
combined
changes
with
to
the
create something
Fortnite
completely new.
foundation,
And then
if you
quickly
will.
play it in-game to check out the results.
And so you can make the games that look completely different from how Fortnite actually looks and plays. And so this looks like a war game. Obviously, these are Fortnite assets, but this plays more like a Gears of War type of game. And this was just custom made using the creator tools that they're going to be introducing for people to leverage. This is stuff that you can make using the tools that they're about to introduce. And they show you a little bit of like how that whole
generates
process
the aliens that
was.
you saw at specific locations. However, we wanted to do more and introduce dynamic play.
And they introduce boss battles like this. You can make custom content like this, and this is just scratching the surface. And it's not just shooters that you can make with this. There are other genres that they introduced, like this game right here, which looks like a Ghost of Tsushima-esque
our real-time global illumination system.
kind of game.
You can also find more content like UEFN, Fab, can filter, and Unreal editing.
And you can import your own
Everything you've just
assets, so you
seen
can
is
really
available today
go all
in the
out
public beta
creatively.
version, a tech demo built in UEFN that we are launching today.
For those who want to get into game development but start somewhere that's more accessible, I think stuff like this will really pave the road to some really cool creations. It's almost like Halo Forge, but this feels like it's going to take that to a whole new level, and I'm very curious to see the kinds of creations we'll see. And at the end, there's discussion of a new Fortnite creator economy where Epic is going to share revenue between themselves, the company, and the creators, dedicating, I think they said, like 40% of their net revenue to ensuring that creators who contribute to Fortnite through custom-made content get their fair share. Yeah, right here, 40% of Fortnite's net revenue will go towards creators who contribute to the game, and how much revenue they earn will be based on certain metrics like popularity, engagement, retention, and the number of new players that the creations attract. So there's going to be incentive for developers and creators to make their own custom content and make it as best as possible. So just a lot of cool things that they're doing here, not just with making games look better and increasing the graphics fidelity, but giving developers all kinds of interesting, cool, and revolutionary tools that will allow them to enter the game development space at different levels of skill with all kinds of neat accessibility features and all kinds of neat features that will just make development of games that much faster, more efficient, and will make certain processes that before might have taken a long time to fully flesh out, those kinds of processes can be done in a matter of minutes, seconds, with the right tool sets with Unreal Engine 5.2. This is the kind of stuff that will genuinely have a positive impact on video games because it's going to make life easier for everyone, and it's going to push the boundaries of what video games can achieve technologically, artistically, creatively. Unreal Engine is on a roll, and it continues to blow me away with each new demo. That Matrix demo that I played in real time, whose graphics looked incredibly photorealistic for what it was, that blew my mind. But I mean, just when I thought my mind couldn't get blown any further, I mean, they come out with this presentation where it feels like they're just getting started with the kinds of revolutionary systems and technologies that they'll have in place for Unreal Engine 5.2, and I'm very curious to see how much further they can push with future generations of this engine. But yeah, there you have it, folks. I just thought this was really cool and worth showcasing and reacting to. It's stuff like this that makes me pumped for the future of games, and just the kinds of next steps that we'll see the industry take as technology becomes more powerful, more efficient, and just better tailored for developers to be able to do their best work. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on Unreal Engine 5.2, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.